The variation is used to describe the variance or the spread of the data. So are all the data values really close together, or are all the data values spread apart? That's going to tell you some good important things about the data. What we're going to be looking at is quartiles, which divides the data set into 4 equal parts. Think about the word quart. Quart means 4, okay? And then remembering, if you split something into 4 parts, you really only need to divide it 3 times, because we've got part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, okay? So different terms that we are going to be using and things we're going to be looking for is the median. We've already talked about that. That's the middle number in the data set. Put the data in numerical order and find the middle number. Next thing is the first quartile, which is the median of the data values less than the mean. So basically, we are cutting our data in half. We find our first median. Then we're just looking at that lower half. And we are going to find the median, the middle value of that bottom half. So for that example, it would be 52. Then we jump to the third quartile. Why do we not talk about the second quartile? Well, really, our median is our Q2. If we think about dividing that data, right, we divide it in half. That's our median, which is our Q2. We divide the bottom in half. That's our Q1. We divide the top in half. That's our Q3. Okay? So this is the median of the data values greater than the mean. So again, we would divide our data in half. And for our Q3, we're just looking at what's the middle value of the top half. So for this example, it would be 58. All right, the interquartile range, okay? So if we think of range, we probably know that the range is the difference between the highest and lowest value. So you're just taking our high value of 80 minus our low value of 45. The interquartile range is looking at the range between your quartiles. So we're looking at the range between our Q1 and our Q3. So we're just taking our Q3 minus our Q1 to find that interquartile range, okay? Because that interquartile, that is 50% of the data. So we're saying that our middle 50%, how far apart are they? Are they really close together, or are they spread apart? Outliers are values that are much smaller or larger than the rest of the data points. So something that does not fit in with the rest. So for example, here, 276 does not fit in with the rest of the data. It's an outlier. You can have outliers that are really small, or you can have outliers that are really high. And then the MAD is our mean absolute deviation. We're not going to work on this yet. It is a measure of variation. We're going to be doing that separately just because it's a longer process in lesson 4. So let's move into an example here. Find the measures of variation. So again, right now we're not finding the MAD, we're just finding the other measures of variation. First thing that we need to do, because we need to find the median value, is we need to put these in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to put these in order: 0, 0. Then I see 2 1s. I see 2 2s. A 3. I see 3 5s. A 6. 2 7s. A 10. And an 11. Let's double check. We should have 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Awesome. Okay, so first we're going to find our median by crossing off lowest, highest. Since we have 15, there's 7 below, 7 above. We've got our middle value here of 5. So that is our median value. When you have just one middle value, we're going to actually cross that off, and we're not going to include it when we're finding our Q1 and our Q3. So now what I like to do is, so I'm still going to cross off lowest, highest. I'm going to cross it off in the opposite direction. So lowest, highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest. My recommendation to you is be careful when you're writing this out, because if you kind of write sloppily, you might miss something and make a mistake even though you're doing the correct process, okay? So Q3, same thing, I'm going to cross off the opposite way. Lowest, highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest. We have this value here of 7 is our Q3. So then our IQR, we are just doing our Q3 of 7 minus our Q1 of 1, which gives us an IQR of 6. And our range, we're doing our highest value of 11 minus our lowest value of 0, which gives us a range of 11. Okay, so one thing we're going to add in as we're doing these next two. So if you remember for measures of center, we were looking at determining the best measures of center. And when we were looking at that, we used the best measure of center when, the mean was the best measure of center when there were no outliers. The median was the best measure of center when there are outliers. So when we think about it, the MAD is the mean absolute deviation. So our MAD is the best measure of variation when we use the mean, which means there are no outliers. The IQR, well, you need your median value to be able to find your Q1 and Q3, so you need your median to find your IQR. So the IQR is the best measure of center best measure of variation when the median is the best measure of center, which means there are outliers. So no outliers, use the mean and the MAD. If there are outliers, use the median and the IQR. So let's look at this example here. The following are test scores recorded from Mrs. Baker's science class. Find all of the measures of variation, except right now we're not finding the MAD. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to put this in order. So the lowest value that I see is 70. Then I see 72. 74. 79. 80. 81. I see 82. 83. 86. 87. 88. 90. I see 2 92s. 95. 96. And 98. So I'm going to double check to make sure I didn't miss anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. All right, we should be good. So first I'm finding my median, crossing off lowest, highest. Sometimes I might cross off a couple at a time. So I'm going to cross off my 3 lowest, my 3 highest. Maybe my 2 lowest, 2 highest. 2 lowest, 2 highest. Be careful as you're getting closer so you don't cross off too many. I just did 1 at a time there. Left with 86. So remember, if you have an odd number of values, there should be 1 median value. If you have an even number, there should be 2 in the middle. So our median's 86. Since there was 1 value, we're going to cross it off when finding our Q1 and Q3. So crossing off my lowest, highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest. If I crossed off my lowest here, I would cross off this highest and have nothing left. So that means we have 2 values in the middle. So our Q1 is the average of those two. Either we can add these up and divide by 2, or you know that the middle of 79 and 80 is 79.5. Same to the top, crossing off my lowest, highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest. I have 2 values in the middle. They're the exact same value though, so I know the average of them is 92. Another hint is if that you have 2 values for the Q1, you're gonna have 2 values of the Q3. If you don't, you did something wrong. So our IQR, we're gonna take our Q3 of 92 minus 79.5, and we get 12.5. Our range, we're taking our highest value of 98 minus our lowest value of 70, which equals 28. All right, determining the best measure of center. So if we are looking at this, we are just determining, are there outliers? So yes, there is a wide range, but is there one number that's way far away from the rest of the data? So like 70 and 72, are those way far out from the rest? No, it's pretty close to 74 and 79. 98, is that really far away from 96? No. So I think there's no outlier, so I'm going to say that our best measure of center is the mean, which the corresponding best measure of variation then is the MAD. All right, last one. Following data set shows the number of hours per week HMS students watch TV. So again, first thing we're going to do is we're going to put them in order. All right, I'm seeing 8 as the lowest value. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 8s. Then I see a 9. And I see 2 12s. 14, 15, then I see 1, 2, 3 18s, I see a 23, 28, 2 29s. Let's make sure I didn't miss anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Awesome. Okay. So finding our median, crossing off, lowest, highest. I'm going to do a couple at a time. I'm left with 2 in the middle here. So when I've got those 2 values, I need to find the average of those 2. I can add them up and divide by 2, or you could tell me that the middle of 14 and 15 is 14.5. So here's the difference. When we had 1 value in the middle, we cross it off and we don't include it when we're finding the Q1 and Q3. When we have 2 values in the middle, we are just going to draw a line in between them. The 14 is going to be used in the bottom half, the 15 is going to be used in the top half. Since we had 16 values, that leaves 18 for our bottom half, 8 for the bottom half, 8 for the top half. So when I'm crossing off, lowest, this 14 is our highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest. We're left with 2 values in the middle again. Either add them up and divide by 2, or realize that the middle of 8 and 9 is 8.5. Same thing to the top. Our lowest is the 15. Lowest, highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest. We have 2 values in the middle. Add the 2 together, divide by 2, and you get 20.5. So our IQR, 20.5 minus 8.5, which equals 12. Our range, 29 minus 8, which equals 21. If we're looking at this, are we seeing any major outliers? 8 is pretty close to 9 and 12. They're all